All right, I think we're live. Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. I hope it's working. Welcome to Paperbird's Home Book Club, episode 6. My name's Gavin Aung Than. This is my home office where I make graphic novels. I know that a lot of you are stuck at home and you're bored and you might feel a bit scared with everything that's happening at the moment. We're here to kind of help you get through the day, and you get to kind of see what my home life is like and how I get my work done. And I work from home all the time, so I'm used to it. And it's not so bad, I know you might miss school, but the best thing about working from home is... I did have a dog here, but she's not here anymore. Well, you get to hang out with your pets, and you get to work in your pajamas, so it's not all bad. My name's Gavin. The project that I'm probably working on now the most is Super Sidekicks. So these are a graphic novel series published by Penguin, and these are books 1 and 2. I've just finished working on book 3. I'm going to show you exactly how I work and how I make my graphic novels. So if you want to come a bit closer maybe, my lovely wife Jess is holding the camera. Graphic novel. I'm going to show you a page from my new book. It's called Trial of Heroes, book 3 in the series. So I start off with this here. This is just a script. You can see I type out all the words, exactly what's happening, and I do these small little sketches for each page. These are called thumbnail sketches. So I'm going to show you page 67 of book 3. So let's find it. 67, okay. So book 3, 67, you can see the small little sketch I've done here, the thumbnail sketch. And then I write out all the words. You can see where I put the speech balloons as well. So I'm already deciding where to put the speech balloons. And I type out the script. So that's the first stage of the process. And I do that here at my computer, my desktop computer here. I just type like a regular person. So once this has all been approved by my editor in Sydney at Penguin, I can move on to the next stage, which is the pencils. So that's when I come over to my drawing table here, and I draw. So you can see I've done, this is page 67 here. Now in this scene, the sidekicks are taking part in the trial of heroes, and they've lost all their powers, and Goo is just a small blob here and he can't move at all. So JJ has to pick up Goo and tie him around his back like a backpack. So that's the pencil drawing here, and it's very rough. I don't care if I make a mistake at this stage. It can be very loose. The main thing is that I leave enough space for the speech balloons, and I just make sure there's lots of fun and energy in the drawings. Okay, so when that's done, I can move on to the next stage, which is called the inking. So now I do it at bigger. You can see the drawings are bigger now. So I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you can see that I've actually printed out the pencil drawings underneath in blue ink. You might not be able to see that, but I printed out in blue ink. So now I can just go over the blue ink with pen. So you can see that I've done all the pen work here. And takes a long time to do. I've got to do the whole book, which is over 150 pages. And you can see here that, for instance, JJ's hair is black, right? But I don't have to kind of waste time and colour it in black, because I can do that on the computer in the next stage. So when I'm on deadline and there's not much time, I try to save as much time as possible. So I don't have to colour in all the black. Fly Girl's costume is black, but I don't have to colour that in, because I can do that in the next stage, which I'll show you. So for the next stage, we move to my drawing tablet, which is over here. So this is called a drawing tablet. Now it looks pretty fancy. This is quite an expensive version, but you can get a cheaper version, and you don't even really need one of these in order to make comics. You can just do it with pencil and paper. This is kind of, if you're a professional, but yeah, you can kind of just do it with pencil and paper. So you can see here, I've scanned in the ink drawing, I've scanned it into the computer, and I've done all the black. See, I've just clicked in, JJ's hair's black now. It's all done on the computer. So how this works is the line work. This is a program called Photoshop. You might have heard of Adobe Photoshop. So what I do is on one layer is the line work. So you can see that's the line work that I've done. Then on a layer underneath is where I add all the color. So you can see the color layer here. So if I take off the black layer, you can see this is all the grey color here. It's on one separate layer. And then the black layer goes on top. And there's a finished page of Super Sidekicks, page 67. Alright, so that's how I do my work. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I get to work from home all day and I get to draw comics. And I get to kind of play with my dogs. So it's a really perfect life. I'm very lucky. So yeah, I thought I could maybe do some drawing for you, but it's a bit dark in my office, which is not ideal. So we're gonna head to the dining table and I'll do some drawings and I'll also take some questions if you have any questions. So let's go to the dining room. I don't normally work here, but it's a bit better, it's a bit brighter in this area here. So maybe if I take the camera now, we say thank you to Jess. Okay, and give me a second to turn the camera around, and if you have a question, I want you to think of a question and type it in right now, okay? All right, there we go. All right. All right. Oh, look, my wife brought me a present to show you. Hello. Hello. Hello, Vader. Okay, she's very grumpy, as you can see, and she doesn't like being manhandled like this, so I'll let her go. Alright, okay, so if you have a question, let me see. So, the Formidable Flower asks, have you finished making Super Sidekicks Book 3? Yes, I have. And got something exciting to show you. I've got a very advanced copy of it right here. So here's Super Sidekicks Book 3. It's called Trial of Heroes. So books 1 and 2 are out now. And you can order these from Paperbird Books. And if you live in the area, they'll deliver it straight to your front door for you. And book 3 is coming out at the end of April. So, yeah, that'll be out in a few weeks. I've also got these other books called Zen Pencils. Now, these are where I take inspirational quotes and I turn them into comics. There's one especially for kids called Zen Pencils, Inspirational Quotes for Kids. And this is great. They're really short, fun comics. And you know, if you're feeling a bit down, they're very positive, especially during this tough time at the moment. So yeah, these are great for you to check out too. All right, any more questions? Not at the moment. So yeah, I finished book 3. I'm going to do a little drawing for you. Sorry that the camera's not great. So I've done a little pencil sketch already. I don't know if you can see that, of the Super Sidekicks. So I've done that earlier this morning. And I'm just going to quickly do some ink to it, add some ink. Now this drawing will be available through Paperbird Books. You can download it and you'll be able to colour it in if you're feeling bored at home. Alright. So if you have any other questions, feel free to type it in. So I just use normal pens. These are called Pigma Micron pens. They're pretty affordable. Hi Kelly. Kelly Canby just joined and she waved, so hi Kelly. She's going to be, I think she's going to be on the Home Book Club on Wednesday, I think, so make sure you tune in for that. Okay, so I'm just going to do some ink. So bear with me, I'm just going to do JJ. Hi, Franny. So Franny Zach was on the Home Book Club on Friday, and she has a really beautiful studio. It's a lot nicer than mine, so make sure you check that out. I think it's on the Paperbird Books YouTube page, where you can see Frene's home book club. Jody gives me a thumbs up. Thanks, Jody. All right, so again, if you have any questions about cartooning, about how to publish books, feel free to type it in. A few other people have joined the party, Mel and Kit, I think. Hello there. So I'm just going to ink JJ now. I'll try and do it fast. So this is probably my favourite part of being a cartoonist, is just doing the inks. It's very meditative, and I can kind of listen to music, or I listen to audiobooks while I'm doing this. So yeah, it's quite relaxing when there's no deadline looming. Okay, let's see. So I'm just doing JJ. So I always start with the face first. Let's see. Formidable flower asks, what inspires you to draw, and where do you get your ideas? Wow, that's probably the hardest question of them all. Where do you get ideas from? Ideas can kind of come from anywhere. They can come from your real life, so you can do like an autobiography. You can kind of draw from your own personal experiences, or kind of from one of your family members' own personal experiences. So yeah, where I got my ideas for Super Sidekicks was I wanted to do a kids series, and I've always loved superhero comics growing up, so I wanted to kind of do my own version of that. So that was how Super Sidekicks started. Yeah, I find going for a walk is a good place to come up with ideas. If you can't think of ideas at your desk, then to kind of go for a walk, maybe take a shower. Ideas often come in the shower. A few other people have joined Ginstagram. Hello, Ginstagram. In the shower, while you're driving. So that's where ideas can come from. So yeah, it's quite a... You kind of just have to always think about stories, what would make a cool story, what excites you, what interests you. If you love basketball, then you might do a basketball story. If you love dancing, you might do a character who dances and build up a story around that. So, you know, do whatever you're interested in. There are no rules. Yep, Frane knows the shower secret. That's where all the ideas come from, in the shower. Because I find in the shower, a lot of people find that when you're in the shower, your brain is kind of very relaxed, and it's kind of thinking about nothing. And then suddenly an idea might pop in, and you might be trying to figure out a problem, and that's when the solution will come, when you're in the shower. Or I find when I walk my dogs also another good opportunity to kind of just think. You know, try not to maybe listen to music, just go for a walk. Don't have any music, don't have an audio book, and just kind of daydream as you're walking, and that's where ideas happen. So yeah, if you have another question, please shoot it through while I continue drawing JJ. So yeah, also I've got some activity packs on my website, ungthan.com, where you can get some colouring in sheets and kind of teach your lessons as well for Zen Pencils on my website. So make sure you check that out. So I'm just finishing off JJ's face. I won't be able to do the whole drawing, but I'll finish it and you can download it from Paperbird Book. So there's JJ's face. Dun, 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 dun. So again, the formidable flower. Thanks for all the questions. It seems like you're the only one asking questions. Do you like being a cartoonist? Oh, well, definitely I like being a cartoonist. So when I was a kid, I loved to draw and scribble, just like I'm doing now. And my dream was always to be able to do it for a profession when I grew up. And thankfully, you know, I've managed to do that. It hasn't been an easy journey, but yeah, I love it more than anything. I love making stories and creating characters and drawing all day. And then for people to read my stories and to tell me that they've enjoyed them or they've learned something from them or it's inspired them to be a cartoonist or make their own stories, that's really a great feeling to have. Someone has joined, Irene. Hi Irene, thanks for joining. So yeah, I love being a cartoonist. So I'll just finish off JJ and then I'll take some more questions. So we've got another person who's joined, Rebecca. Hi Rebecca. Again, another question from... okay, we've got another question from someone else. Kelly. Kelly can be asked, would you rather be the superhero or the sidekick? So Kelly, well, I'm a younger sibling, so I've always been my older brother's sidekick, I guess. When I was a kid, I was always following him around and doing whatever he did. So I'm definitely more comfortable being the sidekick. And the formidable flower asks, is it tough sometimes to be a cartoonist or to be an author? Yeah, it is tough sometimes. You know, some days you don't really have any ideas. Some days nothing's happening. Some days you might feel like your work is just no good and that your work's terrible and no one likes it and you should quit and get a real job. But you know, most of the time it's awesome, and you know, this is what I've always dreamt about doing. So even when the days are tough, it's still a good day because I get to do my dream for a job. Okay. So I'm just finishing off JJ. Got another about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so I'm just doing JJ's hands now. So hands are probably the hardest things to draw. So you have to practice drawing hands all the time because there are so many different positions for hands that you have to be able to draw them all, because their hands are very expressive, especially in comics. Hands are a great tool for characters to use for them to be more expressive, and you kind of know what they're feeling inside through their use of their hands. So if someone's like, you know they're angry. Someone's like this, you know they're contemplating. If someone is like this, then you know they're kind of feeling sad. So yeah, hands are very important. So we've got another question. Who's my favourite character from Super Sidekicks? Well, let's have a look. So the characters in Super Sidekicks, so we've got JJ. So he's probably, some people have said he looks like me, so he's probably has a special place because yeah, he's kind of based on me. He's got kind of black spiky hair like me. I've always dreamt about being a superhero, so yeah, JJ, I mean, he's very close to me. But then Fly Girl's really cool. This is Fly Girl. She can fly and she's got these cool balls that she throws at supervillains that are filled with insects. So I like her too. Dynamite, he's very close to me because he loves to read, and he loves science, and he loves history, and they're all kind of my favorite subjects too. And what's coolest about Dynamite is he can transform into any dinosaur. So that's always cool because I love drawing dinosaurs. Who doesn't, right? And last but not least, we have Goo, the pink guy in the back. He's everyone's favorite because he's very cute, and he's very innocent and sweet. And he can kind of transform and shapeshift and do all sorts of fun things. So I kind of love them all. They're all kind of like my kids. You can't really ask which is your favorite kid, right? So they're all kind of my favorite. Okay, so I'll quickly finish off JJ. So yep, shoot your questions through if you have any. So JJ is almost done. So there's JJ. So you can see there's JJ. So this finished drawing will you'll be able to download and colour in at home, like that. So yeah, I find that if you're bored at home, I find that drawing is probably one of the best things you can do. Drawing and writing your own stories. So I find that if you're kind of feeling a bit scared or anxious about everything that's happening now, that making your own stories is a great escape, and you kind of forget about the real world and you kind of get lost in your own world that you create. So create your own characters, create your own situations and stories, draw your own comics. These are great ways to pass the time, and you're also kind of getting better as an artist, getting better as a writer, and you might find something, you might find that you really love it and you find this new passion that you might not have had before. So it's a great opportunity to kind of try new things, and kind of give your parents a break at home if you're driving them crazy. Just do a lot of drawing and creating. All right, so Fran is doing a bit of story time for you to do at home. Yes, I'll have what Fran is having too. What's my favourite comic book? So Jay Hannah, who is an old friend of mine, asked what's my favourite comic book? Probably, well, we had some sad news last week. Is the artist of Asterix passed away last week, Albert Uderzo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Asterix is one of my favourites, and he was 92 and he was still making Asterix books. And he's an amazing, amazing artist. And he wrote the stories as well for a long time. So check out Asterix if you haven't. I'm sure Paperbird Books has Asterix. Another European iconic series is Tintin. So Tintin's also one of my favorites by Hergé. He's the artist behind Tintin. So those are two of my favorite comic books. So we've got another question. So I've got like 5 minutes left. Do you ever get mad and rip the page up or throw it out? I do get frustrated a lot when I'm drawing something, or there are things that I don't really like to draw, like animals and like big background scenes like buildings and houses and stuff like that. So sometimes I do get frustrated. I use a lot of I do a lot of erasing when that happens. So thankfully in the computer you can erase unlimited amount of times. So yeah, I don't try to rip up and throw away pages if I can help it. I've got a new person who's joined. Rawin, hello. Thanks for coming by. Okay, so I've got time for another few questions if you have one. Yeah, there's JJ that I did. Again, so all my books, all the Sidekicks books are available at Paperbird Books, and they're doing home delivery now if you're in the area. So they do free home delivery, so you can get my books if you're bored at home. They'll make the day go faster for you. Okay, so yeah, if you have another question, please. So again, books 1 and 2 are out now. That's book 1, book 2. This is the new one. It's not out yet. It's coming out in April 28th. So make sure you pre-order it. You get your local school, or you ask your parents to get it from Paperbird Books for you. So someone asked where do I get my ideas from earlier. So a good example is using the real world or using what interests you. So in book 2, I was trying to think of like a really big villain for the book. And I was interested in all the, sorry, I'm getting a question here. Rebecca asked, if kids want to write their own comics, do you have any tips? Yeah. So do you have any tips for writing your own and making your own comics? So this is a good tip, is to use what's around you. So in book 2, I was reading up about all the plastic waste in our oceans, how it's a really big problem. So that might interest you, that interested me, and that kind of got my imagination going, you know, what could happen with all that plastic in the ocean. That's when the idea came, is what if all that plastic in the ocean kind of became alive and it kind of turned into this giant monster? And what if that giant monster was really angry at humans for putting all its trash in the oceans, and it wanted revenge on humans? So that's why book 2 is called Ocean's Revenge, because the ocean comes alive and it turns into this, all the plastic turns into this big giant sea monster that comes to attack Australia and the world. So that's a good tip, is to use the real world. So obviously the big story, what's happening now, is the coronavirus. So maybe you could think of an idea like, oh, what if there was some other virus that turned you into, you know, a zombie, or turned you into, I don't know, that's up to you to think of, you know, it could turn people into, you know, insects or something like that. So you can use the real world, you can kind of use your own life based on your own experiences, or you can just make things up out of your head. And I find to just practice, draw as much as you can. Draw as much as you can. It takes a long time to get really good at anything. So just keep practicing and you'll get better. And yeah, if you need some tips or feedback, you can contact me through my website, ungthan.com. You can kind of shoot me an email through there. So yeah, that's about me, almost done. I think, any more questions? One more question. So I'm going to finish this drawing once the live stream's over, and you'll be able to download it and colour it in through Paperbird Books. Alright, so make sure you follow Paperbird Books. I think got the awesome Mark Greenwood for the Home Book Club tomorrow, and the amazing Kelly Canby. He's an amazing illustrator and writer who will be joining you on Wednesday, I think. So again, thanks so much. I hope you all take care during this scary time. And yeah, be safe and be well and be good to your parents. All right. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.